Hey, Wise Pineapples. Today, I am talking about what might be the most dangerous thing we do as leaders. Welcome to the Yes Show. I'm your host, Christine Trippy. Each week, we'll explore the life-changing power of saying yes, along with hotel leadership made easy. Get ready for inspiration, fun, and sweet hospitality. Let's go. Let me tell you a story that might change how you look at problems forever. Back in 1939, a graduate student named George Danzig walked into his class late. Everyone was gone. He looked up at the board and saw two math problems, and he assumed that that was the homework for that day. So he wrote them down. He went home and he got to work. However, unbeknownst to him, those were not the homework problems. They were unsolved problems in statistics, the kind that had stumped mathematicians for years. But George didn't know that. So he just kept going, kept working on it. No hesitation. No, this is too hard. No, this is unsolvable. No, I can't do this. Just effort. He kept working on it. And after a few days, he solved them. Yes, both problems. Think about that. The only difference between him and everyone else in history up to that point was that he didn't know that those were impossible problems. Yes. And this is exactly what I see happening every single day in leadership, in hospitality, in business in general. We walk up to a problem, a guest request, a team member issue, a policy, and before we even try, we meet it head on with a no. We label it no, can't, not allowed, impossible. Not because it is, but because that's what we've been taught it is. Yes. But what if we did what George did? What if instead of starting with no, we paused and made friends first? We stayed in the question just a little bit longer because here is what I know for sure that when you pause before the no, there is always a next yes. Maybe it's not the original ask, but there is always something that you can do. There's always a next yes, a different option, a creative solution, a way to make it work. And that's the power of yes. Not saying yes to everything, but refusing to shut it down before you even think about it. Here is another example that I talked about in a recent past episode. I was working with a client who needed to increase their guest scores to meet the brand standard expectations. Now, the hotel looked great, except the bathtubs. They needed to be recoated. Every other survey was about how the tubs were dirty. The tubs are dirty. The tubs are dirty. And they were getting slammed with that. This was what I call their pretty pig. The tubs are clean, but they don't look clean. The GM, let's call her Kelly because that's her name. Kelly thought there was nothing that she could do until the tubs could be resealed. And quite honestly, most leaders might think that. The immediate problem was unsolvable. But guess again. We made professional signs to put on the bathroom counter like this one. And they read Ugly Duckling, soon a swan. 100% clean today, brand new finish this December. Along with an adorable little rubber ducky. Cool. Now, here is the even better part. The hotel did not receive one survey about their tubs being dirty after we put those signs up. Not one. Now, I honestly didn't think it would be 100% perfect, but it was. And they increased their overall satisfaction over 10 points. That is yesitality in action. So here is your challenge, Wise Pineapples. What seems impossible in your business or your life right now? I want you to pause and make friends first and ask yourself, what is the next yes? What can I do in this situation? And then ask yourself, what is the real problem here? Because for this hotel, it wasn't that the hotel needed a renovation and to spend $10 million. It was that the guests thought the tubs were dirty. And so we solved it with some fun communication. The next yes. Because just like George, the only thing standing between you and the solution might be the belief that it can be solved. Yes. And remember this amazing quote by the late and great Audrey Hepburn: nothing is impossible. The word itself says, I'm possible. Yes, that is your yes inspiration for this week, my friends. Until next time, be confident, be empowered, and lead from the heart. I love you guys. See you next week. That's a wrap for today's show. Say yes to taking action and changing the world one yes at a time. And oh, my friend, will you say yes to review, like, and subscribe? The more yeses you give, the more juicy goodness I can bring to all of you wise pineapples. Cool or cool?